WM Podcast.
Alright, let's get this over with. I'm not impressed with one of the results, and it's ruined the podcast for me, but we're just going to roll on. Thanks, Bald Man, who shall remain nameless. I'm not going to talk about him. We've got no Brad today, though. He's currently mosh pitting to some men in some masks, talking about putting their fingers into their eyes. Instead, I am joined by Mr. Matty Deller, who has just returned from rubbing shoulders with WWE's Elite and Cain Velasquez.
Hi, I'm really tired. Really, really tired.
If no one has seen the picture, it is the greatest picture on the planet, and it's a picture of Joe Kingley when he meets Ric Flair. It's on our Twitter at TWM Wrestle. Please go and look at it.
Genuinely met his idol and did not know what to do. We are actually, I'm going to give a little cheeky little plug. I'll do one at the end as well, because NXT UK is a recap show this week, apart from 2 matches, and Impact is a recap show because they both have pay-per-views this weekend and they've not recorded the new tapings yet. We are going to have a little chat about us at the BT Sport housewarming party. So we are going to tell the story of Joe, me pointing out when Ric Flair arrived to Joe, the point where Stephanie McMahon mugged off Dan, and the part where Paige said that I smelled like her boyfriend. So we're going to discuss all of that on tomorrow's podcast, so brace yourself for that one.
And also the tweet we put out saying Matt's going to have to dress rather smartly, and he's still just bowled up in a t-shirt.
I'm going to get into that because that is my version of smart casual. Anyway, probably should talk about this podcast. So what are we doing?
Yeah, we are doing Wednesday Night War. As always, it's Thursday, Wednesday Night Wars. Last night, NXT went off. AEW went off. Episode 15 of the Wednesday Night Wars. Listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, tune in, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, and anywhere you do get your podcasts from. And let's move into NXT very quickly. Last night, Undisputed Era tried to flex their dominance, but they failed towards the end of the night. Got an opening promo, obviously just after a 10-bell salute for the late, great WWE Hall of Famer, Soul Man Rocky Johnson, who sadly passed away yesterday at the age of 75.
Yeah, that was really sad.
I went onto Instagram, saw a picture put up by Aleister Black, and I went, oh, please don't tell me he's died.
Yeah, no, it was really, really, really weird being like in a place that was like, broadcast WWE. I imagine they must have realised, they must have all been told just afterwards, because like no, there was no mention of it whatsoever. I imagine it would just put a dour on the whole evening, but yeah, like really, really sad. This is really, really sad. His thoughts go out to the Johnson family, and of course Dwayne obviously losing his dad. That's horrible.
Nothing's come from Dwayne as I can see so far. Obviously understandable.
Yeah, of course.
But he's obviously being with his mum and family at this time. We got an opening promo from Big Keith Lee, who has got an absolutely awesome t-shirt. I've actually forgotten what it says on the front of it.
Oh, well, the Keith Legion.
Yeah, that's it. Keith Legion, that's it. Thank you. Is it Limitless Legion?
No, yeah, it's like the Limitless Legion thing.
But it's Legion with 2 E's. So
yeah, I love that he is this giant man that is the biggest nerd. Like, his promo was like, achievement unlocked! And it was just like, oh, I love how much of a geek you are. It's so... And also, lovely coordination having the blue and pink
shoes,
pink top with the pink trainers, and he kicked the shit out of 4 men with pink trainers. You'd love to see it.
Yeah. You love to see it, but yeah. So he spoke about how 2019 was the year of the Undisputed Era. He did admit that, but he said the end of the year was Undisputed Era, but it was also his. He obviously had a lot of run-ins with them from War Games up until now. He said that 2020 is going to be his, and he's going to start off by taking Roddy's national North American Championship.
It is technically national.
Yes, because I put NA on my notes, so I just went for NA for some reason.
the non-applicable title. It's a good thing you didn't call it that.
Non-applicable title, yeah. Undisputed Era came down, didn't he? They did speak. It was Cole just running his mouth off like he always does, even though it's nothing to do with Cole. It's to do with Roddy. So at that point, Roddy's like the scared child, and Cole was his dad, telling off some bully. more or less. It's what Adam Cole is saying.
Stay away from my son.
Yeah, more or less. It was more or less what it was. All four men got into the ring and tried to take Keith down. Keith bats every single person off, wearing pink trainers like he does, until Roddy grabs a chair and stabs him in the back of the leg before wrapping his ankle in the chair and doing a stump off the second rope. Out comes Tommaso Ciampa to neutralise the Undisputed Era so slightly. He clears the ring and upsets Scarpa, and he helps Lee to his feet.
Yes.
They also, later in the evening, we got another promo from Tommaso Ciampa, basically saying that Cole has taken Goldie from him. He wants Goldie back. He needs Goldie back. Undisputed Era come out again. They don't say anything. They just head to the ring and go for Ciampa. Ciampa manages to just about hold them off before he starts to get overwhelmed, and what hits Johnny Gargano's music. Gargano. He comes out. He helps Ciampa to basically fend off the Undisputed Era. We get a Willow's Bell, from Ciampa onto O'Reilly. Super kick from Gargano to Fish before Fish is sat in the middle of the ring between the two of them. They both smile at each other and hit meeting in the middle to the loudest DIY chant I've ever heard.
This was really, really fun.
Raucous.
Really, really good. Are we talking about the match that was announced now, or are you saving it to the end?
I'll put it at the end of my notes, but we can speak about it now. I put all the matches that were announced for the future.
Let's save it for the end, because we've missed something on this bit that happened after that, where you had a little bit of a chat between Ciampa and Gargano.
They sort of had a little bit of a me and you.
Yeah, a joint forces. What are you doing next Saturday? Basically, one of those things. And then Undisputed Era attack, and then we get probably one of my most favourite moments in NXT history, which is Keith Lee bum rushing someone through a bush.
I forgot to talk about that at the end of it.
Literally did the Harry Hills TV burp, and this is a like a niche reference for noughties TV fans. Did the old bush push. It was brilliant. I don't know if it was Roddy he yeeted or just a security guard, and then proceeded to play real life Streets of Rage by just throwing people into things.
Lee was not impressed. We did, but before we got to the outside bit, you did have a little bit in the ring between Ciampa and Gargano, sort of pointing at each other. Like Ciampa was sort of pointing at himself and Gargano. I don't know if they were sort of saying square off or team up, but
he's like, me you kick
going down.
me you kick, yes.
Something's going down.
This was it was all really, really, really good. However, my slight grievance, they Pillmanized Lee's leg, which has put people out before, and they literally had Keith Lee walking around like nothing was wrong at like 30 minutes later, which kind of either means that one, Lee is literally indestructible, or two, they just completely no-sold one of like the oldest ways to injure someone out in wrestling. So if you see anyone bigger than Keith Lee take the Pillmanizer again, they should instantly be able to get up and just no-sell it, because he did. So, but yeah, no, I liked him doing the old bush push was fun. So
it was a lovely thing to see. We also got a couple of number one contenders matches last night. The big one was a battle royal for the number one contendership for the women's championship. Bianca Belair was the winner, last eliminating Io Shirai. Did you want this? Did you want Belair to win?
You know what? I was happy. I was okay, because the second someone came out, a certain Miss Baszler, I was like, they're going to have Baszler shithouse it and they're going to have the rematch, aren't they? And then the second that your favourite, Shotzi, eliminated Baszler, I was like, oh damn, because I thought once Purrazzo kicked her in the face, I was like, are we going to get like a Santino Del Rio finish where it's like she's going to come in, it looks like she's going to eliminate, and then Baszler's going to shit can her? But no, they had a like Shotzi get rid of Baszler. I feel like that's going to probably be the feud over TV that basically writes off Baszler from WWE. Not like injure her out, but they'll have her do the favours to Shotzi to put her over, and then she goes over. But you know what, Belair is different. Like
it is very different. It's like you look at Belair's character, you look at Ripley's character, it's so different.
The promos are going to be really good.
Yeah.
Between, well, they've not got long, but really good. However, this isn't the headline for this. You know what the headline is.
Yes, a wild Katie Catanzaro was there.
Yes, because everyone thought she'd left, and so did I, to be brutally honest, because she's not mentioned WWE in ages. She's kind of been doing a lot of like fitness apparel stuff online. Yes, but I know, because she follows me on Twitter. We are Twitter best friends. So I thought, maybe she's just quietly gone. Maybe it just wasn't for her. And obviously, she had a really bad back injury, and she wasn't. There was rumours that she wasn't acclimatizing, quote unquote, to the performance center, to wrestling and stuff. Apparently, she just needed some time and needed to kind of get herself ready. And the as I coined her in the Mae Young Classic, the potential female Will Ospreay is back. Because she's just really good, and I feel
even her boyfriend was working us.
Yes. What is it's like, oh my god, my girlfriend is in the Bell Royal. My word, I did not expect this. But yeah,
why are you speaking about Dusty Rhodes?
Because that's how Ricochet speaks in private. I've asked Casey. But no, I'm really, really happy because she, out of a lot of wrestlers that came out of the Mae Young Classic, she had so much upside, and she got, and honestly, you could probably whack her on the main roster as kind of a lower card female wrestler, and there would not be an issue because she has that mainstream appeal as well as being redonkulously athletic, which was a welcome thing, because then they took two people out that I wanted in the Battle Royal, for one in the middle of the show, and then one without telling anyone, because they took Chelsea Green out, which I was really upset about because I wanted to see what her Robert Stone endorsed entrance would be, and then they took Dakota Kai out of the Battle Royal without telling anyone.
Yeah, that was quite a shock. I didn't see her coming out, so not being in it. I hate it when they compare male competitors to female and say, "Oh, this woman's the new blah blah." However, the one, speaking of Katie Catanzaro, that is the one anomaly to it all, because she is like the Kofi Kingston of women in battle royals.
Well, no,
in the Royal Rumble, she grapevine the fucking corner.
But technically, that is, and again, I don't want to be like, let's compare Black Wrestler A to Black Wrestler B. Technically, the Kofi of the Royal Rumbles is Naomi. That's why I kind of
true.
but it's great. Like something someone said, they went great. They've got someone who can do the Rumble Kofi spot now that isn't Naomi, so they can do two now. But she's got a lot of upside. I reckon she's probably not going to be huge, which I would love her to be big, but she's very, very small, unless they're going to Rey Mysterio the thing. It's a big shot. But there's a lot of surprise people in. I thought it would be a very small rumble. But they had a lot of quote unquote what's it? What they call that loop? Is the orange loop, or what? The orange tree loop. A lot of the people that work those shows, like the house shows they do, were in this rumble. So I was surprised.
We saw, off the top of my head, as many as I can remember: Vanessa Bourne, Xia Li, Katie Catanzaro. Another big surprise, because she was only announced as an NXT competitor 2 days ago, Mercedes Martinez. That
one I was very, very happy about. I was Mercedes is great, and I'm also very, very happy that I managed to see her before she quote unquote signed. I've said quote unquote a lot today, I don't know why. Yeah, I've seen it before, and she's really, really good. And this signing's very much in the same vein as a Cassius Ohno signing, as in
to be more of a mentor.
Oh yeah, no, wrestle for a year or two. You're still really, really good, and then you'll become a coach. Ideally, ideally, she gets to wrestle a little bit longer because she's very, very good, and we get more of a Samoa Joe arc, which was Samoa Joe's meant to have the Cassius Ohno deal, but was so good that he ended up going on the main roster because he's Samoa Joe.
Well, we got a little bit of a tease, didn't we, of Mercedes Martinez and Shayna Baszler. They did. They
signposted a lot of stuff going forward. I believe the Martinez and Baszler one is one based off. I believe they must have wrestled a lot on the Indies. I'm not sure off the top of my head. However, they kind of continued / set up 3 feuds here. You got obviously Belair and Rhea. They set up Shotzi and Shayna as a mini program. Also, they continued Tegan and Dakota when Captain Kota successfully yeeted Tegan Knox off the top rope. So
Yes.
They also, I'll say the final bit before we go on to the old Cruisery boys. They also it was nice to see them do a different version of Battle Royal. They did the old, remember from the Royal Rumble when it was like the last two were Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and they had like basically a mini match right at the end of the Battle Royal. They did that with Io and Bianca, and that was nice instead of just doing a really quick finish at the end.
Yeah, no, it was a brilliant little battle royal, and Bianca Belair is your new number one contender for the NXT Women's Championship, heading into, I'm assuming, NXT they take over Portland, yes. Because it's already been announced that Rhea Ripley will be facing Toni Storm at Worlds Collide for that exact same title. Like Matt said, we'll move on to the Cruiserweight boys, because we had a triple threat match last night to determine one challenger for a fatal four-way that's going to be happening next week at Worlds Collide. It will be Angel Garza defending against Isaiah Swerve Scott. And please, can we have Isaiah Swerve Scott versus Leo Rush and Tyler Breeze as well, just on repeat? This match was unbelievable.
This was superb. I love this match, but it was very, very funny because you have the two athletes of colour in Swerve and Rush doing all these amazing athletic moves, and Tyler Breeze is literally like the white guy up high next to his two really, really good dancing friends. Like, look at all these crazy things I can do, and Tyler Breeze is like, I can do a drop kick. Woo! But no, he fit in really well. Like, I loved this. It was just the fact that Breeze was on normal speed and Swerve and Rush were on like ×5. Just some of the stuff they were doing, it's insane.
Well, I was quite surprised to see Swerve win, because at one point Rush was just on probably ×10 at this point, because he hit a suicide dive outside to Breeze, climbed up to the top rope, hit the final hour later on again. Then Breeze tried to get involved. He hit the come up, and it literally was just on fire, hitting everything that came his way. But the match ended after Breeze hit the beauty shot. He went for the Unprettier, which got pushed away by Rush. He hit the beauty shot onto Rush, and Swerve just picked him up, hit the JML driver, and got the 3.
The JML driver.
The JML driver is brutal.
Named after Isaiah Swerve Scott's favourite brand of discount homeware, JML. So
I thought JML was a shopping channel.
It is, but it's also a discount brand. Oh. He would call it the QVC driver, but he's they put a cease and desist out.
No, fair enough. Right, last night we got some...
By the way, I'm joking for anyone. I'm just putting it out there. No way. Really? Do you know after JML?
It's confirmed that Isaiah Scott loves to sit through the British channels of teleshopping.
I can't wait for him to bust out his his submission, the Home Bargains armbar. It's just... Right, do you want to get angry now? I know you are. So
he'll have a new finisher called the Poundland Punch.
the power and land of the punch.
Right, I'm going to get angry because last night the Time Splitters lost to grizzled young veterans. Now, I'm only annoyed because I fucking love Alex Shelley and I love Kushida, and Time Splitters is one of my favourite tag teams. Alex Shelley is one of my favourite wrestlers of all time, no matter whether it be tag team or singles.
Yes, the same. Me and you both have we both love the Motor City Machine Guns. It's something we bond over often. However, I was shocked by this. Genuinely was watching this and was like in public, was like in my shoot shop in the staff room watching this match, and genuinely went like gasped at the finish. I was like I did not. I thought, well, GYV just fodder here, and I went, oh my god, they had Gibson and Drake win, but because in my head I was like, oh, it's Broserweights against Time Splitters in the final. No, it's not, because clearly the final's going to be at Worlds Collide, so of course it's going to be NXT UK versus NXT. So
more or less, yeah.
So now they've nailed it on. We know it's going to be GYV against the Broserweights. I think it was Broserweights. So
the good thing I'm taking out of this, in a post-match interview between Kushida and Alex Shelley, Alex Shelley was very, I say loving. He was just being his usual self, saying that Kushida's English has gotten better. He has NXT to thank, the universe, and that sort of thing. and he put every tag team in NXT on notice, which means this is not a one-time deal, and Alex Shelley is sticking around.
I feel like he might have worked a lot of people, because a lot of people have been asking, well, are you going to come here? Are you going to go there? Are you going to do a wrestle in Latvia? Are you going to come do an armbar in Sweden? And he's like, no, I have a real job. I'm a physio. Like, I have clients, so I can only really wrestle on the weekend. And then he does this show. So part of me wonders maybe that WWE have gone, well, you haven't got, like, you have been recovering from serious injuries. You could come and wrestle here, where you're only going to really wrestle once a week, if not like once every 2-3 weeks. And you get to wrestle with Kushida, and then when you want to call it quits, maybe you can become a physio for the Performance Center.
That's what I thought he was going to do. I thought he was going to become a coach.
I don't think he'll become a coach. He's apparently, like, according to the internet, he's a shit hot physical therapist. Like, really, really good. Because that's what he did in his time off. He got his physical when he
retired, didn't he?
Semi-retired. He did his physical therapy, like his physio degree, whatever you call it. So I would not be shocked if they've gone, come do some graps, and then you can become like a WWE doctor. So, which would be fun. That would make NXT literally like the most indie fanfic ever. It's like, oh, by the way, you're going to come wrestle, and look, we've got Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano. You're being trained by Shawn Michaels, and oh look, here's our doctor. It's Alex Shelley. That would be awesome, and hopefully maybe in like 6 months, Chris Sabin and we can have the Motor City time splitters, and I think I may explode. Yeah, if they ever brought Sabin in generally, and we got Motor City machine guns, particularly if we got machine guns against Flash and Mandrews, I would lose my poop. I would lose all of my poops.
I would lose a lot of shit in my life. The other match we got last night was, I'm not calling them the Broserweights because I found a better name for them, Joint Manipulation, which is fucking perfect. I find that so good.
It's funny because it's true for one of them anyway.
Yes, exactly. They defeated South Wales Subculture, Mark Andrews, and Flash Morgan Webster. Great match. And I also absolutely loved the matching gear between Dunn and Riddle. Yeah,
everyone had matching gear. Flash and Mark had matching gear, and so did Dunn and
Time Splitters and GYV.
Yeah, everyone had matching gear. It was lovely. And what I also did enjoy, one, the Broserweights got their signature pose down, and two, I just loved the bit where they had some really cool like double team, like the X-Plex into the power bomb, which was really cool. And then I loved the Toriano double shrug as they both did the knee and the kick to the face. It genuinely killed me.
And then their finisher was the bitter end into the bro to sleep.
Oh yeah, no, I missed that. I saw the thing at the end. I looked down. I was like, oh, did he just do like the bro to sleep to win? And then I saw the replay. I went, oh no, they did like a bit, like a what's it, like the broter end. That's what they need to call it. If they don't call it the broter end, I am fucking fuming.
I also absolutely love the whole gimmick. Is Matt Riddle's got a mustache, by the way, which little bit weird. Looks a little bit weird on him. Kind of suits him, kind of doesn't.
He's trying to grow a beard. He's trying to fit in with the British strong style boys.
But what I absolutely love is he obviously comes out to the ring. His music's in the background. He sort of looks at Pete Dunne, little fist out, and Pete Dunne just goes, shrugs his shoulders. Oh, all right, fine. I just love Pete Dunne's character.
Somewhere, Millie McKenzie is furious because she worked for months to get Millie to get any form of like affection from Pete Dunne. Him and Riddle have been teaming for 1 week and he's already given him fist bumps. Millie destroyed every bit of furniture in her front room, suplexed it all because he showed more love to Matt Riddle in 1 week than he had done to Pete Dunne done to her in her entire lifetime.
Oh yes, but these two matches sets up our new matches for next week: Imperium versus Joint Manipulation or Broserweights, or whatever you like to call them, and the Undisputed Era versus the Grizzled Young Veterans.
It's really, by the way, it's really weird that like the way they set this up. We've got like
NXT UK on one side, NXT UK on the other.
No, mine was more like the heel versus heel. They got Era versus GYV.
Yeah, because they've only got one face team left.
Yeah, I know that, but so, for me, that's why I said I think it's nailed on the GYV are beating the Undisputed Era, but I don't think it will be
Imperium.
No, I don't think it will be thingy. I don't think it will be what's the word I'm looking for? Clean. It'll be like, I think what we'll get is we'll get we'll get Imperium costing Undisputed Era and Undisputed Era costing Imperium.
Oh yeah. No, I can see
like
that happening. They attacked them after Takeover Blackpool.
Yes, they did. Crisscross applesauce. And then we've got DIY against Mustache Mountain at
Worlds Collide. Oh my god, that is just going to be.
Which everyone might as well just leave a gap in their top 10 matches of this year already for that, because that's going to be brilliant. And then they confirmed Bala Gargano at NXT Takeover Trees. So
and Gargano put out a funny tweet saying, "I better learn how to wrestle again." He hasn't wrestled for a long time. I am saying it now, Dusty Classic, I want it to be the team that's been thrown together. I do want it to be the Broserweights, only because Pete Dunne got fucked over last year or the year before.
I think it's unless they are going for the shock run in GYV, win it to put over NXT UK, like they had NXT win Survivor Series to put the brand over. I think the Broserweights are winning it.
I actually won't be against any of the teams winning,
because you know what, I generally think they might be putting Pete and Riddle together as a long-term team, because I would not be against them.
They're hilarious.
No, I would not be against them being the ones that beat Fish and O'Reilly for the belts.
I'd say Undisputed Era are probably the only team I don't want to win. I'll be happy with Imperium, I'll be happy with Broserweights, I'll be happy with GYV.
Because I feel like they are now going to build up eventually to Cole's going to lose the belt at Mania. They're gonna have a title match at Mania. I think it'll be Ciampa versus Cole. Maybe they'll have some sort of big match at WrestleMania, because apparently NXT is going to have a thing there, and that's where Cole loses the belt. But that'll be like the peak of them losing their belts, because Keith Lee's beating Roddy for the belt in 2 weeks. I know he is. And then at the Takeover Trees, they have the Broserweights beat Undisputed Era, and then whatever happened at WrestleMania happened, where Cole loses the belt, and Undisputed Era have no more gold, and then they can maybe go across to another roster. Who knows?
Yes, well, as much as I'm disheartened that Alex Shelley lost, I have the knowledge and faith that you can go onto New Japan World, or you can go onto Impact Plus and go watch his matches as much as Machine Guns or Time Splitters in New Japan, because it's just unbelievable.
He's not going to call you back, bro. I'm sorry.
Why not spread? I said, why not spread the gospel of the TWM squad with some of our lovely merch over at Teespring? We have t-shirts for all shapes and sizes, hoodies, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and loads more. Also, just for listening to this podcast, you can get 10% off your order. I said using the code podcast. That's podcast. Once again, podcast in the checkout for 10% off at teespring.com/stores/TWM-wrestling-merch. That's right. Praise. Testify.
Last night's AEW, we got some developments in the Cody and MJF situation. Cody has now accepted all of Maxwell Jacob Freeman's demands, saying that yes, he will have that match against Wardlow. Yes, you can whip him on 10 times with your belt, and yes, I won't touch you until Revolution. However, he did say his plan to have Wardlow face him in a cage match might backfire, because it probably will show that MJF should be the one carrying Wardlow's bags.
I did like that. That was a nice little promo bit there, kind of putting the seed of doubt already into MJF's head and Wardlow's head as well. I didn't like the thing, like, I just don't like Cody, for someone who's such a traditionalist, bloody loves to be like, I'm breaking kayfabe, fourth wall, la la la.
He used the word heel on TV.
You don't want to be, you keep saying you're trying to bring in the lapsed fan and not try and cater to the hardcore audience, but my god, do you use insider terms an awful lot on that show.
He does.
All of them do. They do it on commentary as well. Commentary wasn't that bad this week, by the way. I did enjoy it.
Before saying commentary, reminds me, Taz has signed a permanent deal with AEW.
Because they have obviously, and if we're doing news, I'll bring this up. Of course, they've extended their TNT deal to 2023. And And also they've got AEW Darts coming to TNT. So you know what that means? Another show to cover, because it's not as if we've got enough content. I'm gonna stick that on a Friday. It's getting that show's pretty lean, to be fair. We can put AEW Dark on there.
That's going best of the rest.
Yeah,
going best of the rest. So Cody called MJF an old school heel. He broke kayfabe and used that H word on TV because he does things differently. He does things differently to how other heels do it in the business. Obviously, we had that big 6-man tag team match last night. MJF turns up wearing a t-shirt that says "I slept with DDP's daughter" because he's a dick.
Correction, it said "I banged DDP's daughter."
That's it. Yeah, sorry, I banged DDP's daughter. Can we also just comment on how good DDP looks for 63?
DDP Yoga, man, it's the feud. My mate who doesn't even watch wrestling does DDP Yoga on my recommendation, and he's like, "No, it really works. It does work." I'm like, "I know it does." So.
Well, I mean, that yoga must be working because he did a big dive off the top rope to 4 other men at that age. Yeah,
DDP for best of the Super Juniors, mate.
Yeah, 100%. MJF got the win after pinning QT Marshall. Obviously, it was MJF, the Butcher, and the Blade against DDP, QT Marshall, and Dustin Rhodes. So it was like 2 young guys and an older guy versus a young guy and 2 older guys. It was
basically just friends of Cody against MJF and his minions.
Cronies, yeah.
I'm a big fan of QT Marshall's
as am I.
Space flying tiger, the Sasuke special space flying tiger drop, whatever you want to call it. But it's more of a space flying yeet. Space flying washing. Yeah, I call it the space flying washing machine falling down a quarry. It's just. But it was really, really good.
I'm just a fan of QT Marshall because he does these moves, but he kind of does it by taking the piss. Like, obviously, you've seen Will Ospreay do a Sasuke special. You've seen Sasuke do a Sasuke special, but you watch QT Marshall do a Sasuke special, and he does a cartwheel and then basically does a front roll. He does like an Undertaker over the top rope when he used to get out of the ring in the mid-2000s.
Yeah, it's very, very strange, but yeah, but it's oddly captivating. Yeah, no, and also I just like the fact that his gimmick is apples because he's from New York.
Yeah. But it was good to see DDP not get pinned. QT Marshall
was in there. QT Marshall was literally in there to eat the pin.
To eat the pin. But we got MJF being the classic dick in that match. He starts off with DDP, tags out to I think it was the Butcher. Then DDP tags out to QT Marshall, and then MJF tags back in, so he doesn't have to face DDP. So yeah, he was just being a classic heel. Like he is so damn good at.
Yeah, it was great. I like the fact that also he that he not only like vacated the ring when DDP got in, he got into the crowd to get physically far away from DDP as possible. And then the second he was DDP tagged out, he ran back in, tagged straight back in. Just he's such a dick. It's so good.
He's so good. You just absolutely love to hate him. The other thing that's so good is Jon Moxley, who turned up to AEW Bash on the Beach last night in that Ford GT that he stole from Chris Jericho.
One thing, by the way, you called it Bash on the Beach, which is something completely different to Bash at the Beach. If you're doing a Bash on the Beach, I'm fairly certain.
Oh, it's Bash at the Beach, isn't it? Yeah.
If it's a Bash on the Beach, that might be one of those special interest videos that Rich has.
Cape by the Ocean?
That's the second. That's the second instalment of Rich's. I'm starting this gimmick now that Rich is a pervert. It's mucky videos.
I've started the gimmick that Josh is a Tory, and now you're starting to give me the Ross.
Who's Ross?
Rich is the pervert.
Some jobber. It's a very, very nice little story arc as we stop burying everyone.
So we stop burying people that work with us. So last night, Moxley arrives in that Ford GT. He beats Sammy Guevara, but the second he wins, Jericho's music hits, the lights go out, the lights come back on, and Moxley's surrounded by every other member of the inner circle. Basically, they pin him down in a sense. Hager chokes him out. Jericho whips him a few times with his belt. Hager with a big knee to the yam bag, which is a nod to his most recent MMA fight, because he did need a bloke with bollocks. And then Jericho does the dickest thing of all and takes one of the spikes off his jacket and jams it straight into Moxley's eye.
I do like a good OG like 1980s blinding the face gimmick. Like, it's a nice little. Also, I like the fact that he's got screw-on spikes, like he's a robot from Robot Wars with like alternating weapons. It's like next week he's gonna put a flipper on there so he can flip his opponents over. He is dead metal.
He is. Jericho is dead and death metal. Jericho is backstage.
There's an article idea. AEW wrestlers as robots from Robot Wars. Write that down. I'm getting someone to write wrestlers as the robots from Robot Wars for next week.
We'll do that. I'll write that down. Don't worry. We got backstage. Jericho is blaming Moxley for what happened. Because it's his own fault, because he didn't accept the inner circle, basically. And he also tells Pac and Darby Allin to say thank you to Jericho, because without Jericho taking them out, they now get a direct route straight to Jericho. So the point of it was Moxley was going to face the winner of Darby Allin versus Pac, and then the winner of that match would then go on to Chris Jericho to face him for the title at Revolution. Obviously, with no Moxley involved, it's a straight road in a sense. He plugs his crews and says they're going to absolutely weak on the cruise. We jump over to that match between Pac and Darby Allin. Pac does win in a brutal match because it's Darby Allin and he just has no care for himself.
I don't know if I think this might have been during the break, because I ended up watching the long one on Fight this week rather than
I think it might have been
rather than Tunter. The powerbomb on the steel stairs,
brutal,
was just horrific. It was just unpleasant to see, if we're brutally honest. But yeah, it was really, really good. Like, really, really good match. Darby Allin is showing why he's becoming, like, that the first 3-4 months of AEW was all about Scorpio Sky and how good he is. I feel like the second stage is showing us how good Darby Allin is. Like,
yes,
he
is. Get his wife on there. Come on, I want to see some Brazilian.
Oh, she's with MLW at the moment, so don't worry. She'll, like, if you're in MLW, there's pretty much AEW finishing school, so she'll be there. She'll be there soon enough.
Yeah, more or less. After the match, obviously, we say Pac won. He gets an interview with Tony Schiavone, and Tony basically is just addicted to Tony Schiavone. Of course he is, because it's Pac. He's the best.
Did you, by the way, I don't know if you clocked this, by the way. Did you notice that Tony stopped himself thinking Pac was going to interrupt him then, and then Pac didn't interrupt him, so Tony just stopped for no reason? It was like, Tony, what did you say? And then Pac didn't talk, and then Pac then interrupted him. I was like, yeah, you missed your cue, Big Tone, unfortunately, in your beachside gear.
Yeah, he was in a nice Hawaiian shirt.
He was in his midlife crisis t-shirt.
More or less, yeah. He says that he has to face Moxley next week. He's not in the match, and then he goes, we need to immediately stage. Camera cuts to the back of the ambulance that Moxley was in. You can see someone in the crew waving it on, saying off you go, and then the doors smack open. Moxley comes out. He's got a massive bandage around his face, covering up more or less both of his eyes. I don't think you can probably see, but he sort of stumbles all the way through, grabs a microphone onto the stage and says that he's going to be there next week. He's going to kick Pac's ass because that title shot is his. So we are getting Pac versus a one-eyed Jon Moxley next week.
It's one of those things, though, like, they're doing all this. We know how it's ending. We know it's going to be Moxley Jericho.
Yep.
At Revolution. They teased the potential idea we might get something like before January. We thought maybe Tanahashi's going to beat him. Maybe we're going to get Tanahashi Jericho for the title at Revolution. No, it's going to be Moxley Jericho. Not complaining, but you don't really need to do a number one contenders match when we all know who's going to win it.
The thing is that we don't know who's going to win out of Jericho or Moxley, because they could go away.
Yeah, potentially. So it's yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but it's going to be Moxley's going to beat Pac next week. It's going to be good. It's going to be on a boat, but but Moxley's winning, so
yeah, more or less. We did actually crown more number one last night as Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega defeated Proud and Powerful, the Young Bucks, and the Best Friends in a fatal four-way tag team match to be crowned the number one contenders. It wasn't actually confirmed on the show. I don't think that they were number one contenders, but it's now come out after a backstage scene.
Oh no, they announced it because the whole thing it was advertised as a number, because it was the 4, 3, 2 and 1 contenders all facing off.
Yeah.
So
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well after basically to get the win, Paige tagged Matt Jackson in on the back. Obviously, Matt was a bit pissed about that. Got taken out. They hit their buckshot lariat and V-trigger finisher to win,
which is very nice. It's a lovely move.
It's very nice. It is very nice. The Bucks were pissed. Obviously, Omega was sort of stood there like, don't look at me. I haven't done anything, but don't be annoyed. Paige just storms off. Yeah,
he's off to go find a drink and then annoy SCU while being drunk.
And then they had a little ruckus backstage, and Omega just said, fist bump, shake hands, be cool, and Paige just went on to kick her ass, walked off.
Yeah,
to the Bucks. But yeah, it was just
they're slow burning this heel turn really well. I will give them that.
They are. Yeah. It's going really, really well. And I also realised today, whilst watching. Whilst being at work and whilst also seeing things of AEW, I've now decided that I'm in my company. I am the Orange Cassidy, because I can't be asked to do any work, but I'm just the best one there.
Is that your is that your TWM ruling now? Your Orange Cassidy. I'm not going to do anything, but I'm going to be the best person here anyway.
No, this is my actual proper job.
Oh, your shoot job,
not TWM.
Because TWM, that's my job. I don't do anything, and then I'm just the best one by proxy.
But he's growing on me even more, because it's at one point they've got Bucks, Paige, Omega on one side, P&P, best friends on the other, and like a little suplex 4-on-4 scrum in a sense, and then Orange Cassidy just sort of wanders into the ring, hooks onto the end that best friends are on, flicks them over, hands in his pocket, kips up, and then just gets sandwiched in between a hug.
The difference maker. That's what Orange Cassidy is. He's just the best. I've told everyone for ages how good he is. And when I
just don't like his super kick thing. I just don't find it funny.
But when they eventually let him have a match, I'm going to send you a match to watch. I'm going to send you, and it will make you love him even more. I'm going to send you Orange Cassidy versus David Starr. It's on YouTube, and it will show how much narrative you can get out of Orange Cassidy. It is brilliant. I will send it to you later.
Well, I mean, the clip of him versus Pac in AEW where he's diving around the ring and doing front flips with his hands in his pockets is phenomenal.
Yeah, but like
it's just a super kick thing.
There is range to Orange Cassidy, and we have literally had the first squeeze from the proverbial freshly squeezed orange. So,
do you know what my main issue with those super kick things he does is he actually slaps his thigh, and that's a hidden secret in wrestling. Tell the fans that makes the noise. You're meant to make them think it's the foot in the face that's making that noise, but he does his little slide.
Yes, but I've told you that this is almost stiff. Orange Cassidy is so. The whole point of his gimmick is, I've said it before, is that he is so good that he openly just takes the piss. Because if he actually, and also he's so lazy that of course he would show him lamely doing the slap. There's the whole point. He's like one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he can't be arsed. That's the gimmick.
Alright, fine. And we also got one more match last night between Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida versus Mel and Brandy Rhodes, as Kong was ruled out through illness.
Can I just make one point about this?
Go on.
I fucking hate the Nightmare Collective. It's stupid.
It is stupid. I hate Dr. Luther.
That's getting edited.
Why?
Because you can't say that. They just. It looks like they've just gone. We've got all these odds and ends. We're going to put them with Brandy Rhodes and try and make Brandy Rhodes interesting. I'm sorry, unless you are, the best thing you are good at, Brandy, is either a heel mouthpiece or a fiery babyface wrestler. You can't be you're not a good heel wrestler. So just it doesn't work. It does not work for me at all. It's a big no from me, dog. Yeah, but Statlander's great, and I've been telling everyone Statlander's great since last year's Mania. So I'm happy.
Well, I mean, Shida and Statlander did get the win, although great camera work on point where Statlander goes for a kick on Mel as she stood on the apron, and I think the commentator said she didn't catch all of it. She missed her completely, but the camera work ruined that for them.
Oh, well, there we go. That's good.
AEW's camera work. What you got done behind it? Yeah.
And then also, speaking of which, we're talking about Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. it's hard to keep up with everything, but try and find the clips of Being the Elite where you've got Chris Statlander and Orange Cassidy having the weirdest, like, flirting courtship thing at the moment. This week, Orange Cassidy explains to Chris Statlander how to sit on a chair, because, get it, she's an alien. It's really, really weird, but really funny. I'll put it in the podcast post. It's really strange.
It's the important question. Let's bring those lights on. Matt, who won?
Can I phone a friend?
Sure.
I joke. I have no friends. This is a really hard one because there was a lot of good matches, but I'm gonna say probably NXT just shaded it for me. Like, it's really, like, NXT probably just shaded it mainly because I really liked. But I like the story. It depends what I want. Do I want match or storyline? Match or storyline? I liked the Hangman Page stuff. I liked the Moxley beatdown. That was really, really good. But I don't like the Nightmare Collective because it's bobbins. But NXT, they had a really good Cruiserweight title match. The Cruiserweight title contenders match. They had two really good Dusty Cup matches, and also we got Keith Lee doing Bush Push. So, and the Battle Royal was really good. So yeah, it probably is NXT this week. However, it's getting harder and harder and harder to split the two because they are both firing on all of the cylinders. It'll be interesting next week when we've got a pre-recorded Dynamite showing.
Yeah.
So, because they can't do a live feed from a boat, I don't think. So,
I'd be impressed if they can.
Yeah, it's like a pre-recorded episode of Dynamite from the Jericho Cruise. So, I'll be intrigued on where that goes. But for me, there was just that little bit more from NXT this week. What about you?
I'm saying NXT for the one pure fact that did AEW have Alex Shelley? No.
Such a dick. No, wait, I could have said that and just gone, did AEW have Casey Catanzaro? No, they did not. So,
yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna fully see because the Battle Royal was fantastic. Alex Shelley, Broserweights, Keith Lee doing Bush Push, DIY chants, or DIY generally, like. All of that.
Whereas AEW had
in a big pot. I'm going to do a bit of a mix.
It is, by the way, it's mental. If we're looking at this, is that the WWE show is probably outdoing AEW in regards of how good the matches are, and then the show run by all the indie guys is probably outdoing WWE in regards of storytelling. That's insane.
Yep. Yeah, work rate is on the side of the storytellers, and storytelling's on.
So the work rate, it's really, really odd, yeah.
It's very, very odd, but there you have it. A unanimous decision of NXT winning this week. Head over to our socials, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at TWM Wrestle. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Acast, Podbean, YouTube, and anywhere else you do get podcasts from on TWM.news. Right now, there is wonderful articles going up and been up all week. You get to read my one, which is the 5 Alex Shelley matches you must see, because if you can't tell, I absolutely adore the man. Would you be able to tell?
Let me run through some things we need to plug.
Matt's going to do the rest for me.
Let me do the plug. So you've got an article on Dave Meltzer, which you can check out. You've got an article coming out just a little bit after this from Shailene about Chris Statlander. So if you want to learn more about the galaxy's favourite alien, you can definitely check that out. WWE wise, make sure that you're keeping an eye on your podcast pipes Friday, because not only will you get Best of the Rest, we'll chat a little bit more about our time hanging out at the BT Sport housewarming party. You get to hear a little interview. You would have seen it on Twitter, announced later last night. In case you missed it, yesterday we had our own Shirley sit down with a very good friend of hers, like a legit very, very good friend of hers for a very long time. It just so happens to be a multi-time Raw and SmackDown women's champion and one of the pioneers of the women's evolution in WWE. That would be Charlotte Flair. So yes, Raps. We've got Shaz talking to Charlotte Flair. Apparently, I've got it to listen to, and I'm going to edit it today/tomorrow morning. Apparently, it's hilarious, this interview, because it's just them two. You get to see a different side of Charlotte in this podcast, which is great. So definitely check that out as well. Also, if you want to have a little shifty through our social media, I did a mini little chat with Paige on our Twitter at TWM Wrestle. So go and check that out. Yes, indeed. Big ups to BT Sport for both of those things. I'm going to say this now because we do love them. They are our new friends. Remember, BT Sport is the home for Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and NXT UK. I would say they didn't pay me, but they did give us a really nice goodie bag coming out of the housewarming thing.
What did you get from it?
Well, you have to find out tomorrow on Best of the Rest podcast, my friend, because I don't want to flex on you.
That's fine. No, that's okay. No, that's fine. You also get we also got to thank BT Sport for Joe meeting his hero and my dad becoming a WWE champion.
Yes, all is right with the world.
It is all is right with the world. But yes, that has been the podcast. Matt, please plug yourself.
I first of all say all is not right with the world. There are several things wrong with the world, but at least wrestling. Borderline acceptable if you don't go on Twitter.
I don't know. Wrestling Twitter is still a shit show.
I was going to say, just avoid wrestling Twitter and you're fine. So in that case, just follow me on Instagram at MattyID. You can see some photos from last night. You can see the photo of me meeting Stephanie McMahon and totally not marking out whatsoever. Go follow me at MattyID. Just avoid wrestling Twitter, to be honest. Follow us. Unfollow everyone else. We are the least problematic wrestling account on the internet. That's not Chuck Mambo. So check us out. Just follow us, and then just follow everyone else on Instagram. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to plug my Twitter because Twitter, when it's not, it can be fun. Hashtag at George _Geal_. It's wrestling Twitter is really fun, especially when people decide to bring up the hashtag fine women in wrestling or who watch wrestling, and then all the men think, oh no, she's not fine, let me mug her off on the internet.
Yeah, just stop being dicks on the internet, to be honest. Yeah. Stop being dicks and stop showing dicks. That's my final thought.
Motto. I like that. Yeah. That is going on a t-shirt.
We'll put that on a t-shirt and we'll sell that within the week.
Cool. Love you all. Bye.